I have to embarrass Lee because I have to ask you about the RDA. You helped to support it, create it, and now we've seen this situation with Porter County. How do you see this going forward, or what do you hope?
It's for the people
comes
north.
out?
It's like we've always said. It's about the activities of the RDA. It's for the people of Northwest Indiana to decide. By the way, y'all should know this is a precedent-breaking meeting. I've probably done 100 editorial boards all over this state for years. This is the first time anybody else has ever come with me. He's along because we had that previous
The
meeting.
bridge.
If he wasn't such a nice guy, I'd throw him out, though.
Well, you can
because-
throw him
No. We came up with the idea of the RDA and a way to fund it because I believed, and I am reminded as recently as 10 minutes ago in the conversation that you and I and Bill had, that Northwest Indiana is often held back by its balkanization, by being so divided. And every little fiefdom, every little taxing unit, every little town, every little township, all sort of angling for its own interest as it sees them, and zero cooperation, let alone any sense of the collective good. And so the RDA, something like an RDA, seemed like a good idea, not only to create some resources that could be applied to something big or some big things, but also as a forum where folks might come together. Now I'm learning that in a grander way, really, you folks are involved in trying to bring people together and see if you can get folks to look beyond their own turf. And that's a great idea, and that was pretty parallel to what we had in mind with the RDA. So I hope that it'll maybe the lost sheep will come back, and we'll keep pressing on. There are reasons to be there because there are resources that keep going in for another 6 years or something, right, Lee?
Correct.
Yeah.
Would you care to comment on the Cline Avenue situation?
Okay. Well, as you know, that was my stop before I got here. I just wanted to go see for myself both the physical situation and the problems it's causing. So first of all, I'll just say that as much as we regret the inconvenience, and we really do, there's certain things you just don't compromise with, and public safety was one. So I commended the two engineers, one man and one woman, who identified the problem, spoke forcefully about it, and argued that, really regrettable as it is, closure was the only action consistent with public safety. And so, secondly, I wanted to hear from our own people what we can do and what we are doing to minimize inconvenience in the short term. And I came away somewhat encouraged about that. The local folks, and there were a lot of them who were there, said it's not intolerable right now. There is some concern as the BP project ramps up further, which is a good problem to have. It was a problem we worked hard to create, as you might recall, and that project almost came to naught. So we'll keep an eye on that, but they talked a lot about resyncing traffic lights and other steps that are being taken to try to speed the flow of traffic through there. And then, of course, the big question is the long term, and what do we do next? And the process has already really begun, but the series of consultations with civic leaders, city leaders, business leaders starts in earnest next week. And so we want to hear from everybody. And fellow at a citizen over at the bridge, I thought had a very good perspective on this, and he said maybe there's some opportunities here. Whatever it is that replaces that bridge perhaps can be conceived and designed for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And maybe it can be more compatible with the Marquette project, for instance. than the bridge was. So I think we want to move fast, but we also ought to look for the opportunities to make some lemonade.